getting to the African Youth Championships?
Well, for us Africans, it's very important, especially at a time when we're talking about reviving the national team, Bafana Bafana, at a time when also our junior national teams have not done well on the international stage. Now, you'll recall that the only time South Africa has qualified for a major championship like the African Youth Championships, it was back in 1997. At that time, it was through Shakes Mashaba. And then again, he went on to qualify for the Under-20 World Cup, FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Malaysia in the same year. And then the only time again, most recently, was in 2009. We ended, I think, in the second round, losing to the Ghanaian team in 2009 in Egypt, coached by Sremeli Swaka, the likes of Tulani Serrero, the likes of Tulani Tlachwayo, the likes of Andile Jali, Tylon Klassen, Darren Kitt. They were there. They were part of that team, including Ramatlho Mphahlele. So if you look to the Ghanaian team we lost to back then, 7 of their players were playing in the World Cup this year. So that continuity is key. So that's why it's important that this group of Amajita qualifies for the African Youth Championships next year in Senegal in March. And if they qualify and finish in the semi-finals in that tournament, they will automatically qualify for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. So meaning that that group, which some of them now already have been promoted to Bafana Bafana, that group will have international experience that will augur well for Bafana going forward.
Just how difficult will it be? They play to a 1-1 draw, and to be able to salvage a goal away, especially in Cameroon, we all know travelling in Africa is difficult. So, I mean, how difficult will it be in Polokwane this weekend? And
it's got to be said, it was a 10-man Bafana, that is. In fact, by Amajita that finished there in Yaoundé with Dumisani Msibi being sent off in that game for a second bookable offence. So it's going to be very tough. But the fact that we scored an away goal, it means that now we need to push it home, go for an early goal, and try to kill this tie in the second half. In fact, within the first 45 minutes. In fact, that's what the coach, Shakes Mashaba, said in the press conference on Monday, that this game will be done in the first half. Because if the longer they take this game, the longer they give the Cameroonians the opportunity to come into this match, they might settle, gain enough confidence, and also if Cameroon score a first goal, then it could be problematic for us, because another 1-1 draw will take it to penalties. A 2-2 draw will mean that they win on away goal rule. So we need to win decisively this weekend.
Dumisani will then not play this weekend?
Yes, he's serving suspension because of that red card.
That's going to be very difficult for the team.
But you know, we've got enough. We've got enough talent. We've got Jathran Bar. He's here at Bidvest, and also he's been part of the national team setup from the under-17 level. And besides him, there's also Mpho Makache. Mpho, I saw him in the Bay Hill tournament earlier this year in Cape Town. He was the goalkeeper of the tournament. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. Despite Sundowns losing to Ajax Cape Town in the final, to an Ajax Cape Town team that had an experienced PSL player, one of the young boys who's also been promoted to Bafana Bafana, Rivaldo Kutse. Pity his team has not released him for this camp, but he's one of the youngsters for the future as well. He'll be part of the Bafana team that will be going to Sudan, and also for the camp here in South Africa against Nigeria in the AFCON qualifiers. So we've got talent, and in fact, some of the boys, one of the boys who has been promoted, in fact, who has been called up for this game, one of the 5 players we were mentioning earlier, is Morane, Tebogo Morane. Tebogo Morane, he was part of the team Shakes used in the under-20 in Lesotho last year, where they won the under-20 COSAFA Cup to be crowned as Southern African champions. And looking at that boy, Tebogo Morane, he's already playing in the PSL. Before the season closed, he was a regular in the Bidvest team. So there's enough experience in the team. Looking at Siaonda Ngubo as well, who's been called up to Bafana. It's a pity that boy is still playing in the second division, because he doesn't belong there anymore.
All right, so there's no doubt that the national under-20 team, the national under-17 team is the breeding ground for future talent. But let's take a listen to what the coach, Shakes Mashaba, had to say ahead of this clash with Cameroon. We know just how important it is coming up in Polokwane this weekend.
I mean, the last time our teams snatched this, it was when Pirates won a star. And then from then they went into the finals of the tournament. They didn't win it. Can you imagine if all 3-4 teams players go through this and they play in this tournament and we do well? Half the job will be done for the senior and national teams as well, because players will be knowing what to expect when they go out as the national team. I think it's very crucial for us to make sure that we honor these competitions and we take them, we give them the respect that they deserve. I don't think it's money that worries. It is being the champions of Africa and working hard to be the champions of the world.
All right, so we know the importance of the national under-20 team, and there's Shakes Mashaba just speaking about the importance of PSL teams actually partaking in African tournaments, so that these players, when they do get called up, know exactly what it's like to travel. Do we have the culture in South African football to be able to bring Shakes' vision to life? Because it's not an old vision. We've heard other coaches say exactly the same thing. We need to be playing in Africa. We need our teams to up their game.
But you see, sometimes it's easier for some coaches, for some football fans, for my colleagues in the media, and even for the clubs to say, let's go to the continent, let's do well in the continent, let's travel in the continent. People have to practice what they say. They have to, whatever they preach, they have to practice. Clubs have to release players so the players get used to these conditions, so that when they go back with their clubs to the continent, continental competitions, I should say, and they should be used to these conditions. So these boys at under 17 level, at under 20 level, if they can be used to playing against tough teams in the continent and also playing abroad, then I don't see any problem for us in future. But we've got, clubs have to release players.
Yeah, it's open up for debate. Velile Mbuli is SABC Sport journalist. Thank you very much for chatting to us about the very important matches coming up. Our national under-20 team playing against Cameroon, and that second leg of the very important African Youth Championship qualifier. All right.